Life whispers to us in moments of silence, in challenges that stretch us, in paths we never expected to walk. And yet, within each twist and turn, there is a quiet invitation to trust ourselves. Not in the shallow sense of confidence, but in the profound recognition that the same force that orchestrates the rising of the sun and the turning of the stars also lives within us. Self-belief is not arrogance. It is alignment with that greater rhythm. It is remembering that you are not separate from the symphony of existence, but an essential note within it. To doubt yourself is to question the design itself. To believe in yourself is to step into harmony with the purpose that brought you here. And when you finally claim that truth, you discover what has always been waiting, that you are not just part of the dance, you are the movement itself. We often think of self-belief as something we either have or don't, as if it's a fixed quality, confidence bestowed on some and withheld from others. But the truth is, self-belief isn't about personality or bravado. It's not arrogance. It's not pretending to be bigger than you are. It's the opposite. It's remembering that you are already part of something vast, intricate, and intentional. Think of life as a great symphony. Every moment, every encounter, every challenge is a note in that composition. And you are not a bystander listening from the sidelines. You are one of the instruments playing. Without your note, the song is incomplete. That's the essence of self-belief. It's the awareness that your existence is not random. You're not here by accident. You're here because the rhythm of the universe called for your sound, your movement, your contribution. When you doubt yourself, you aren't just questioning your ability. You're questioning the design that placed you here. And yet we all do it. We shrink, we second, guess, we think, who am I to dream that big? Who am I to matter in the grand scheme of things? But let me turn that question around. Who are you not to? The stars don't apologize for shining. The ocean doesn't question whether it belongs. The tree doesn't doubt the worth of its branches. Why should you? Self-belief is alignment. It's stepping into harmony with the truth that's always been here, that your life carries a frequency no one else can replicate. And when you withhold it, when you bury it under doubt and fear, the music of the world loses something irreplaceable. Now, alignment doesn't mean perfection. The violin doesn't play every note flawlessly, and the trumpet may crack on occasion. But they still belong. Their imperfections don't cancel out their role in the piece. In the same way, your mistakes, your failures, your moments of hesitation, they don't erase your worth. They are part of your melody. The power of self-belief is not found in never doubting, but in continuing to play your note despite the doubt. It's trusting that the conductor, the greater rhythm of life itself, knows how to weave even your missteps into the larger masterpiece. When you live this way, everything shifts. You stop measuring yourself only by external achievements. You stop waiting for permission to act. You stop comparing your note to everyone else's. Instead, you realize your only responsibility is to sound your truth, to play your part with courage, with authenticity, with presence. And here's the magic. When you do that, you don't just align with yourself, you align with life. Doors open, opportunities appear, people resonate with your energy, not because you're louder or flashier, but because you're authentic. You're in tune. That's what self-belief really is. It's not a performance you put on, it's a homecoming. It's remembering that the universe did not make a mistake when it made you. And once you see yourself that way, self-belief stops being something you chase and becomes something you live. Because the truth is, you were never just listening to the music. You've been part of the symphony all along. And the moment you believe in yourself, the world hears the note it has been waiting for. If self-belief is about recognizing that you are part of life's symphony, then challenges are the moments when the music swells, louder, harder, more complex than before. They're not interruptions in your journey. They're mirrors reflecting back to you the strength you carry but often forget you have. Think about it. No one discovers their resilience when everything is easy. You don't find your courage when the path is smooth. You don't uncover your resourcefulness when everything goes according to plan. It's only when you're tested, when the rhythm shifts and the ground feels unsteady, that the deeper layers of who you are begin to rise. We often meet challenges with resistance. Why me? Why now? We label them as unfair, as proof that life is against us. But what if they are not punishments? What if they are invitations, summons to step into the power that's been lying dormant within you? Every storm you've faced, every heartbreak you've carried, every setback that left you gasping for air, those weren't random. They were rehearsals. They were preparing you for the next movement of your becoming. Here's the paradox. The very moments you thought would break you are the ones that built you. The cracks in your life don't prove you're weak. They prove you're human. And when you stand back up, when you push forward despite fear or doubt, those cracks become the lines where light pours through. That's how strength is revealed, not in avoiding difficulty, but in showing up for it again and again. Self-belief is forged in that fire. It's easy to believe in yourself when everything flows, when your efforts are rewarded quickly. But real self-belief shows itself in the dark, when the outcome is uncertain, when every voice of doubt tells you to quit, and you keep moving anyway. That's the moment the mirror reflects who you really are. And let me remind you, you have already survived what you thought you couldn't. You've carried weights you didn't think you could bear. You've navigated storms you were sure would sink you, and here you are. Stronger, wiser, more attuned to the music of your own life. That's the evidence. That's the proof of your resilience. When you begin to see challenges as mirrors instead of enemies, something shifts. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What strength is this here to reveal in me?" That single reframing transforms the entire experience. Suddenly, you're not a victim of circumstance. You're a participant in your own evolution. And here's what's beautiful. Every time you meet a challenge with belief instead of defeat, you strengthen the muscle of trust within yourself. You start to realize that no matter what comes, you have the capacity to face it. You stop fearing the storm because you know you've sailed through storms before. You stop shrinking from the unknown because you know the unknown is where your strength comes alive. Challenges don't define your limits, they expand them. They remind you that self-belief isn't theory, it's practice. It's action taken in the face of uncertainty. It's faith that even when the music feels chaotic, your note still belongs. So the next time life pushes against you, remember this. The challenge isn't here to expose your weakness. It's here to awaken your strength, because every obstacle you face is not a wall. It's a mirror showing you the power you've had all along. We live in a world that glorifies noise, constant doing, constant producing, constant proving. And yet, if you listen closely, the most transformative moments of your life didn't always happen in the noise. They happened in the quiet, in the spaces in between, in the pauses where nothing seemed to be moving. But silence has a way of making us uncomfortable. We mistake it for absence. We assume nothing is happening because we can't see the progress, we can't feel the momentum. We panic in the stillness. We think, "I must be stuck. I must be failing." But what if silence isn't emptiness at all? What if it's the soil where your next becoming is quietly taking root? Think about music. The pauses matter just as much as the notes. Without silence, there's no rhythm, no flow, no beauty. The rests in the score give shape to the song. And the same is true for your life. Those seasons of waiting, of uncertainty, of not knowing what comes next, they are not wasted. They are necessary. They are the grounding, the breath, the preparation for your next crescendo. In those moments, life is asking you to trust the unseen, to believe that just because you can't hear the music doesn't mean the symphony has stopped playing. Beneath the surface, there are movements unfolding, lessons forming, strength being built. Silence is not the absence of growth, it's the hidden stage of it. The oak tree doesn't sprout overnight. Its seed rests in the darkness of the earth, unseen, unheard, yet transforming all the while. The same is true for you. The quiet seasons, the stretches where you feel invisible, where you wonder if anything is happening at all, those are the times when your roots are going deep, preparing to sustain the weight of what's ahead. And here's the beautiful truth: silence invites you back to yourself. When the noise dies down, when the distractions fade, you're left with you. Your thoughts, your fears, your dreams. That's where self-belief takes root. Not in the applause, not in the validation, but in the quiet moments where you choose to say, even here, even now, I trust myself. This is where most people lose their power. They give up in the silence. They walk away when progress isn't visible. They forget that becoming is a process, not a performance. But if you can hold steady in those pauses, if you can see them not as punishments but as preparation, you step into a deeper strength. And something shifts. The silence that once felt like emptiness becomes a sanctuary. Instead of fearing it, you begin to honor it, because you realize it's in the quiet that you remember who you are. It's in the stillness that your faith deepens. It's in the pause that your belief in yourself is tested and proven. Self-belief isn't loud. It doesn't always announce itself with fireworks and fanfare. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it sits quietly, waiting for you to notice it in the stillness. And when you do, you discover the ground of your becoming has been beneath you all along. So the next time you find yourself in silence, don't rush to fill it. Don't panic. Don't assume you're lost. Instead, lean in. Listen. Trust that even in the quiet, life is moving, shaping, unfolding through you. Because in the grand symphony of your existence, silence isn't the end of the song. It's the space where your next note is being written. At the heart of self-belief lies one question we all wrestle with, whether we admit it or not. Am I worthy? Most of us spend years, sometimes decades, trying to earn that worthiness. We chase it through accomplishments, through the approval of others, through the roles we play. We think, once I achieve this, once they recognize me, once I prove myself, then I'll finally feel worthy. And yet, no matter how much we collect, it never seems to be enough. The finish line keeps moving. Here's the truth we so often forget. Worthiness is not something you achieve. It's something you remember. It's not tied to your resume, your bank account, your relationships, or your mistakes. Worthiness is woven into your very being. You were born with it. You breathe with it. It is the unshakable core of who you are. The problem is not that we aren't worthy. It's that we've been looking at ourselves through the wrong lens. We've been measuring value with rulers that were never designed to capture it. Society tells us we're valuable if we're productive, if we look a certain way, if we achieve at a certain level. But those are conditions, and real worthiness is unconditional. Think of a newborn baby. No one looks at that child and says, earn your worth. That baby doesn't need to prove anything to be worthy of love, care, belonging. The baby simply is, and somewhere along the way, we forget that truth about ourselves. We start carrying layers of doubt, shame, comparison, until we can no longer see the light of our own worth through the fog. This is why self-belief so often feels impossible, because it can't grow in soil poisoned with unworthiness. If you don't believe you are inherently valuable, how can you ever truly believe in yourself? The foundation has to shift. Here's the shift. Worthiness is not a prize to win. It's a lens to choose. It's deciding right here, right now, to look at yourself not through judgment or comparison, but through the eyes of the same intelligence that designed galaxies and oceans and sunsets. Do you think that force created you by mistake? Do you think it poured intention into every star in the sky but overlooked you? When you begin to see yourself through that lens, everything changes. You stop bargaining for your own value. You stop waiting for external validation to prove what has always been true. And in that shift, self-belief becomes natural. It becomes the only response that makes sense. Because how could you not believe in someone who is already complete, already worthy, already part of the infinite design? Now, does that mean you'll never doubt yourself again? Of course not. We're human. We all have moments when the old lens creeps back in, when the voice of not enough whispers in our ear. But this is where choice comes in. Self-belief is the practice of choosing, again and again, to look at yourself through the lens of worthiness. And when you do, you stop living life as though you're trying to prove yourself. Instead, you start expressing yourself. You stop hiding, you stop shrinking, you stop pretending to be smaller than you are. You begin to live as if your very existence carries value, because it does. So let me say this as clearly as I can. Your worth is not up for debate. It cannot be increased or decreased. It cannot be taken from you, no matter how many mistakes you've made, no matter how many times you've fallen short. Worthiness is your birthright, and once you claim that truth, self-belief becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Because when you finally see yourself as worthy, you stop asking, "Can I?" and you start declaring, "Of course I can." Self-belief doesn't just change you, it changes the world around you. That's the ripple effect of authentic confidence. When you begin to live from a place of inner trust, it's like dropping a stone into still water. Waves move outward, touching shores you'll never even see. Think about the people who have inspired you most. Chances are, it wasn't just their achievements that moved you, it was their presence. It was the way they carried themselves. It was the quiet conviction that said, "I know who I am, and I don't need permission to be it." That energy is magnetic. It draws people in, not because it's loud or showy, but because it's real. Authentic confidence is different from performance. Performance says, "Look at me." Authentic confidence says, "This is me." One demands attention, the other invites connection. And when you stand in that place, when your self-belief flows naturally into how you speak, how you walk, how you show up, you give others something priceless: permission to be themselves, permission to believe in their own worth, permission to stop hiding. This is why your self-belief matters so much. It's not selfish, it's service, because every time you step fully into who you are, you unconsciously extend an invitation for others to do the same. Your courage becomes contagious. Your authenticity becomes a mirror for the truth in others. Think of a candle. One flame can light another, and another, and another, without losing its own glow. That's what happens when you believe in yourself. Your flame doesn't dim when you ignite someone else's. It grows brighter as the room fills with light. And let's be clear, authentic confidence isn't about having it all figured out. It's not about being flawless or pretending you never doubt yourself. It's about being willing to show up as you are, with the belief that who you are is enough. That kind of presence doesn't just impact your own path, it shifts the atmosphere of every room you walk into. People feel it, they sense it. They may not even be able to explain it, but they leave interactions with you changed. Because when you embody self-belief, you awaken something in them. You remind them, often without saying a word, that they have that same power within. And here's the part that gives me chills. Your ripple effect will reach further than you'll ever know. Someone may change their life because they saw you stand tall in yours. Someone may take a risk, speak up, or choose differently, simply because your example made them realize they could. You may never hear about it. You may never see the impact firsthand, but the ripples are there, moving outward, shaping lives long after you've left the room. That's the sacred responsibility of self-belief. It's not just about you feeling stronger or more confident. It's about the chain reaction that begins when you decide to embody your worth. And when enough people do this, when enough of us choose authenticity over performance, presence over pretense, the ripple grows into a wave that shifts cultures, transforms communities, changes the way we see ourselves and each other. So when doubt creeps in and you're tempted to shrink, to play small, to silence your own voice, remember this: your life is not just your own. The way you carry yourself is sending signals to everyone around you. And when you choose to stand in authentic confidence, you don't just change your story. You light the way for someone else to change theirs. We often think of self-belief as a destination, something you finally arrive at after enough success, enough evidence, enough approval. But the truth is, self-belief isn't a finish line, it's a practice. A daily act of creation. Every morning, before the world has the chance to tell you who you are, you get to decide. You get to choose whether you'll meet the day from a place of doubt or from a place of trust in yourself. And that choice matters more than you think, because belief is not something that happens to you. It's something you create over and over, moment by moment. And here's the beautiful paradox: you don't wait until you feel fully confident to act. The belief comes through the action. Every time you step forward despite uncertainty, every time you speak even when your voice shakes, every time you honor your dreams instead of silencing them, you're creating self-belief. You're carving it into your being like grooves in stone. This is why self-belief can't just be an abstract idea. It has to be lived. It has to be practiced in the little things, the way you talk to yourself in the mirror, the way you set boundaries, the way you show up when no one's watching. Those small choices may feel insignificant, but together they build a foundation strong enough to carry you through storms. And let's be honest, some days it will feel harder than others. There will be mornings when you wake up already carrying doubt, already questioning whether you can handle what's ahead. On those days, the act of choosing belief becomes even more powerful. Because it's in those moments that you remember, belief is not about circumstances, it's about alignment. It's about choosing to tune yourself back into the larger rhythm of life, even when you can't see the whole score. This daily act of creation also frees you from the myth of permanence. You don't have to get it right once and for all. You don't have to hold perfect faith forever. You just have to choose it in this moment, and then the next, and then the next. Like breathing, like walking, like living. It's an ongoing rhythm, and here's the gift: the more you practice self-belief, the more natural it becomes. It stops feeling like a mountain you have to climb every day and starts feeling like a home you return to. And that home, the place within you that knows you are enough, that trusts you can handle what comes, that remembers your worth, is always waiting. You just have to step back inside. This is where your power lies. Not in controlling every outcome, not in never doubting again, but in reclaiming the authority to decide, I will believe in myself today, not because I have proof, not because it's easy, but because belief itself is the act that shapes my life. And when you live this way, your life becomes art. Every choice, every step, every breath becomes part of the masterpiece. Not because it's perfect, but because it's yours, created from a place of trust, from alignment with the symphony, from the courage to keep showing up. So if you remember nothing else, remember this: self-belief isn't something you find. It's something you choose. And every day you choose it, you create the life you were born to live.